All right. So, wait on a few people to get in here. Having to redo this has been fun, let me tell you. I mean, really, really fun. So, I apologize for all this, but trying to figure this out has been entertaining as hell. And so, anyway, for any who may be watching this right now, I want to say hello to each of you. Oh, so just gonna sit here and wait just a few. Hopefully, I can see there's at least one person on, which is cool. Yes, it's gonna be kind of boring as I sit here waiting. So forgive me. I have one hell of a live stream I wanted to do this morning or evening, I should say. Probably morning for me. But if the sound's coming out all right, if you would, drop a message there. Let me know how it sounds. If the picture quality is worth the crap or not, if you don't mind. And I would appreciate that. So, all right. All right. So, had to turn the volume down because for some reason from watching what I was seeing, that looks like crap. Apologize for that. Have no idea. All right. So I'll tell you what. Let's just get started, and hopefully people will catch us later on. So, hello and welcome to the Black Tower. I'm your host, your guide, your brother, Sorcerer on a Sword. Today I wanted to kind of go over three things. But before I explain this, I'm going to go into detail just a little bit, if I may. For example, when you're doing magical workings of any type, of any sort, whether it's Simon Necronomicon or just anything in particular that you yourself are into, you need to sincerely just completely, absolve yourself into whatever the force or power that you're working with is. For that, I employ a lot of Luciferians, Satanism, a lot of left-hand path workings and techniques and pathways with what I do. For the sake of argument for this video, it's going to be the Trinity of Self, Miracle of the Mass, and the Rite of Baphomet. Let's start with the first one, the Trinity of Self. Okay, so the Trinity of Self is most often the three main base infernal powers that you work with. Now, why infernal instead of divine? Because you got to think about it. Okay, the law of man is self-preservation. So, with that in mind, you got to think no matter what we do, no matter where we come from, it is always about ourselves. It is about what we want. It is about what we desire. It's about what we will and will not put up with in our magical universe and ourself and our relationships and our realities, any of that. And so you have to be honest enough with yourself that you're able to grasp this concept and actually run with it. For this, I always have the triangle point down when doing this. And it doesn't really matter if you're doing a diagram on your altar top to present this or what you're doing. But you always want to start with the base, and the base is the flesh itself. Now, for the flesh itself, I refer to Shaitan. Shaitan, the adversary, a god against all gods. We're not talking about the biblical Satan. No, 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 no. We're talking about the original adversarial force, power, the one that abhors any control over the self. For this, I like Shaitan because Shaitan to me is more likened unto the might of my muscles, the strength of my bones, the very force of the blood that flows through my veins, through the heart that pumps it, through the lungs that become oxygenated by this thing. And this whole action is referred to as shaitan or shaitan, however you wish to pronounce it. Now, shaitan would be the top left point of the inverted triangle. And then next would become Lucifer. Now, why Lucifer? Now, once again, this is not to go into the biblical reference, okay? All these beings, you have to know them on a personal level, and you have to find the force that most closely resonates with who and what you are and what you are and are not about. For this, Lucifer is the god of mind and of rebellion. For the god of mind, you got to think there are so many people out there, so many paths, so many teachings, all this, that, and the other, and everybody's trying to tell you what you should and should not believe, what you should and should not do. And for this, the sorcerer must be responsible for themselves. And for themselves to do such, what they need to do is to be aware that they must create the order of their mind. And in this sense, I use Lucifer. Okay? So Lucifer is the construct that the mind empowers. Okay? Kind of like this whole system that I'm explaining to you is a construct. So in this one, with Shaitan, and in the strength and might of the body, and then Lucifer with the structuring of the mind, that I believe that these infernal forces, which are not just beings, but are also representative of the self, of the sorcerer itself. So in this sense, Lucifer then becomes the enlightened one. And then you're able to use the force of your body, whether in defense, an attack, whatever, or let alone just to do mundane things throughout the day. Lucifer gives the order and the intelligence necessary to be able to accomplish these things. It tells the body, okay, do this, 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 this. And in that sense, it's very powerful. Now comes the bottom point. Probably my favorite of all of them is Iblis. Now, Iblis, I've done things, the black flame of apotheosis, of being, becoming. It is the flame, it is the fire. It is the spiritual essence. Because did you notice Shaitan representing the body, the physical, Lucifer representing the mind, and then Iblis representing the spirit or the blackened flame. The transmuter, transformer, changer, and energizer of our true self, that sacred star, also of becoming. Now, when you work this, you want to invoke each of them as if they are yourself. So, like for the body, I invoke the Shaitan, might of muscle, strength of bone, force of flow through the blood, through the veins, enliven and awaken within me. Lucifer. O morning star, O evening star. Self of rebellion. Come, come. Come forth from the darkness of self. Come forth from the depths of thought and become immortalized within this flesh. Now, when you've done this, then it comes to the point of Iblis. Iblis, the blackened flame. So what you're doing is you're taking the strength, the energy of the body itself that you created through the form of Shaitan. You've then raised it and elevated it to the realm of mind or thought with Lucifer. And then you have exceeded beyond that in what they call the great beyond, which is the great within, and you become Iblis, the blackened flame. Now, what's so important about the blackened flame? Well, the blackened flame is where we burn away the dross or the impurities of ourselves. It's very much an alchemical working, and trinities work best in an alchemical setting, no matter what shape, form, or fashion it take, no matter, where you come from in life or anything else. It's like this morning I was having a conversation with the newest member of the Black Tower, Shaitan Albacor. And we were sitting there and we were talking, and I was asking about the Trinity itself, what was his, and so forth and so on. And come to find out, he and I, we have similar, albeit identical, Trinities itself, which are the basis and the foundations of our own being and becoming. And there are lots of people that influence me. There are lots of people that inspire me. And it's rather interesting, all the conversations that I can have, everything that I can learn from these people. They allow me to go backwards, look at the things that I have built myself up and upon, and relook at them in another way. And then I decide, I'm going to go make a video about this, not because, I've got to throw this out there. It's different, change, no. But it's because once I have redesigned a thing to fit myself, and then the methods and manners in which it is shown and taught to others, like I said before, the knowledge dies with us. We do not share it with others. And so with that being said, big shout out to Shaitan Albacor, newest brother of the Black Tower. And I see we got quite a few things on here. I'm sorry you guys are just a little late. Oh, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that, man. Took me a little bit to figure out how to get this live stream thing going because for some reason it acted like it was just fine. And then after 4 attempts and I kept deleting the live stream events, it finally worked out. And I have no idea how or why. But, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. But to go back for you guys, so the supplemental workings for the Necronomicon is what I labeled this. And it's supposed to be the groundwork that you do before you ever begin working with any of the spirits, any of the rituals and orders from the Necronomicon. Because there are times when you're like, you're in your magical mindset and you're like, I got this, and you go do your ritual workings. And then there's times when you just have a blah day. And there's also times where we need to kind of like break through the dross. We need to just break through our, the weaknesses of our flesh and of our mind. And this video is supposed to be a way, a method of doing so. One was the Trinity of Self and knowing it. I was explaining Shaitan as the flesh, Lucifer as the mind, and Iblis as the blackened flame, which I'm pretty sure most of you will understand that, even if you don't have to go back and watch it. Next part. Cool, man. Cool. I've been watching your videos. They're pretty cool, man. Maybe a little bit longer and actually, talk more about, your systems, your belief systems, to be nice, But I always enjoy watching your videos because I'm just like, hell yeah, somebody's actually recording what they're doing. That's cool shit. I don't do that, but I appreciate people who do. But anyway, if there are any questions, anything like that, post in there, and I'll try to get to it as I can. The next part I wanted to go over was the miracle of mass. Now, the miracle of the mass, any true magical working should always include one act of alchemy. Any true working should have, and now this is in my opinion, okay? So, like, don't take it to be the law, like the word and the Bible or none of that shit. Just, do it your way. Do it how you want. But for me, for my own personal belief system, my own practices, that every magical, like in a ritual, you want to at least include one aspect of alchemy. of transmuting, transforming, and changing something. Uh, I'm going to refer to that alchemical process as the miracle of the mass. Now, anybody who knows anything about the mass, but Frank, I know good and damn well you do, brother. I mean, you have talked on it at length about this. Uh, the mass is where you have a physical or a solid, and you have a liquid. And like it's so interesting with with the religious Christians and so forth and so on. They eat of the body and drink of the blood and all this other stuff. Then you have the mass of the phoenix. There are tons of masses. The mass of Babylon was my favorite stuff, Lima. I got more from that than I did anything. But the mass in particular that I'm speaking of right now is, and this I can only honestly give credit to this concept to Frank Hutter, Frater Nebo, my dear brother. God, I love you, man. Okay, so he did this video, and he was doing a Luciferian uh, mass. It was like a black mass of some sort. I don't really know how to describe it. Uh, Maybe he can go in more in depth if he wishes. And he takes a wafer and cracks it, breaks it all to shit and back, and it's supposed to represent the body that is broken, the laws that are broken, the word that is broken, all these things. It is the speech against the sun in a high magic term, in my opinion, but it means something different for everybody who does it. But the miracle of the mass, the one I'm referring to, is okay. So you want to at least have a solid, whether it's a bread, whether it's crackers, whatever, and you want a liquid. I don't care if it's water, punch, wine, beer. I don't care. It can be apple cider. Me, myself, and I love the cake and ale of witchcraft. I think that's the shit because I get to eat it. Hell yeah, the body of the liar, brother. There you go. Thank you, man. Uh, so, after having invoked the Trinity of Self, before you a solid and a liquid. So, like you would have your triangle on the altar. Represents the top. The top left as you're looking at it. Shaitan, Lucifer, Iblis. Once you've invoked these three and represented them to be your lower self, your middle self, and your higher self all in one, then it's time to do some alchemy. Then it's time for the mass. Now, for the mass, like I said, bread and salt, a solid and a liquid, doesn't really matter what you're using. This works perfectly. Placing both your hands over the solid. In the names of the infernal trinity of self, I remake my reality as a God who creates. Before creation comes death, the destroyer of realities. In this, and then whatever the solid is, whether it's bread, crackers, dost thou abide. Thus comes the breaking. And then you take it and you crumble up the crackers. You take and you tear up the bread into pieces. Death to that which no longer serves me. I am death. Now you have to truly feel this. You have to become empowered by it. You then pick up the chalice, cup, whatever you've got the liquid in, and like I said, it doesn't matter what it is. Now comes the making. Create within and from this liquid that which will serve me. Setting it back down. I am the creator of my own destiny. I am life. You see what it did there. The solid represents the densest material, that which is always chipped and worn away and is destroyed. The liquids always represent the womb and where life comes from. That's where I come up with symbology that I use for that. I am the creator of my own destiny. I am life. Picking up the solid, like I said, in whatever form, whether it's bread, crackers, I now transmute that which decays, and you eat it. Forgive me, I had to write this down. Kind of long. Okay. And you have to think while you're eating it. You have to really dwell on the whole concept of what you're doing. You're taking into your body death itself, because mankind is the transmuter, is the transformer, is the changer. We take forces all day long that are impacted upon us, and we either act or react upon them. And in this right, this is a way of you being able to take control and to take back the authority that is yours as a god upon this earth, or goddess, depending on what you believe. Picking up the liquid, I now transmute that which is life. Now, at this point, you want to drink deeply of it. You want to take it in because you've taken in death. And one of the things that they hardly ever talk about, they'll never tell you, and it's where you have to be careful with the death current, is that when you are working with the death current, you got to be, and you're taking it in like I'm doing here in this little ritual, the miracle of mass. What can happen is you can cause sickness to arise. You can cause all kinds of stuff. That's why it's important to do it first, and because death comes before birth, it was important that this be done in a certain order. And then with the liquids, the liquid representing life, you're taking it in. Now, when you drink deeply of life, you remember what it says, you're transmuting death. And then you're taking in the life, and you say you are transmuting life. You're becoming the crucible. You're becoming the vessel that takes these two opposing forces, mixes them, blends them perfectly, and you are making them into new energies. I, who have become creator and destroyer, am now beyond the cycles. I am. That's why it was so important when you took in death and life. You said, I am now beyond the cycles. You have to state these sort of things because then you have to say that I've taken them in, I've transmuted, transformed, changed, energized them, and I've made them my own. Because what did it say? I destroy that which no longer serves me. I create that which will serve me. So you've taken in the dualities. This might be a little bit above and beyond most people's thinking of the way, like some people, they just do rites and they don't really think on it too hard, too heavy. And I don't blame them. I like to keep it simple too. But there are parts and pieces in ritual and in rites and in workings where you absolutely want to put the whole of your mind into what you're doing. Yeah, like I said, you want to become infused completely with the energies that you're working. And then finally, we get to the part called the rite of Baphomet. Now, I know that in High Magic Dilemma and all these other places, they got all these things for Baphomet. Oh, that Union of Opposites and Infinity. I fucking love that shit. I did the Rite of the Born One, and I enjoyed every single bit of those. But for this, I had to make it so simple because you want to keep the main concepts of what this construct represents of Baphomet. You see, Baphomet, Union of Opposites and Infinity. What's more opposite than death and life? They're the same coin. They're just two faces. But they're the exact same thing. We are both beastly and deific, demonic, angelic, whatever you want to call it, whatever you refer to it as. We have the ability to be above and beyond, to be better than who and what we are. And we have the ability to be the worst fucking thing upon this planet Earth. And that is a choice. But Baphomet represents the combining of the two forces, embodying them. But by using the construct or the God form of Baphomet, we just balance what we just did. Okay, so we had the Trinity of Self that we created, right? We 3 in 1, 1 in 3. And then we had the mass where we broke it down in death and life, took it all inside ourselves. Now to the rite of Baphomet, where we become through all these powers that we've awakened and reawakened, that we've worked with, that we've stirred and moved. O thou Baphomet, O thou union of opposites and infinity, O thou destroyer of falsehoods, abide within me now and forever. Thou am I art thou. The beast is once again infinite within the finite. Thus I go forth to conquer. By my will do I declare this, by my words I make it so. So it is, it is. Now I do this right here when I'm ending something, when I'm declaring dominance and power over a thing. The posture of like this is often used in the Middle East to represent the praying when they do the three faces of Allah. Uh, at least that's my understanding of it, uh, which that's neither here nor there. But the concept of what this does, this brings the power within, and then when you take your hands and you just place it like that, it's without. It is balance, brother. It is balance. But always remember this, though it represents that thing, we are Batman. Um, we are the monsters and we're the heroes of our own myth and of our own story of life, Like one of the deepest things I ever heard was be the hero of your own myth, and your own life is your myth. Like Jason and the Argonauts and all this other stuff. But you got to think you're the hero of your own epic, of your own tale. Now, something I like to do is decide whether I want to be the hero or the villain, and it's always fun to play with it. There are some times when people absolutely deserve your animosity. They absolutely deserve your anger, your rage, your venom. And in that point, I like to be the monster. However, not just any monster. I like to be the B777, that of another sort than 666. And for me, it represents the transmuting of all that is high, of all that is low, of all that is within and without. And brings you back to the as above, so below. And you blend and you mix this. And in your becoming, you have to willfully, mentally decide, okay, how am I going to react or act about this? Because you want to be smart about it. You don't want to just go out and take a baseball bat to somebody. And I personally, I don't care for jail. I don't ever want to go to jail. I love the crap though. Crap works perfect. You can work your will in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know, and unless you get on here and start bragging about what you did this and you did that and all this other stuff, which that's neither here nor there. But just saying, be smart about it. Okay, you can't take somebody one way, take them another way. Fuck them. Uh, that being said and done, though, if any of you had any questions, please feel free to throw them up here because I'm open to it, and I'll try to answer the best I can. Uh, well, I can answer from my perspective, I should say. Let me say it that way. I hope politically correct thing. Uh, I appreciate all of you actually showing up and actually watching this. I'm sorry about it taking so long to get this thing fixed and put live, though. Probably one of the things I know I explained how it's used with the Necronomicon. Okay. You're new to what in general? Magical practices or the Necronomicon or I get you it. Oh, well, allow me to say this. Welcome. Welcome to the magical life. What doesn't change you might destroy you. Uh, uh, honestly, in the very, very beginning, I cannot stress meditation enough. I don't care what system of meditation you use. I don't care if you're using a meditation on the seven chakras. I don't care if you're using meditation to clear your mind and focus. But for the beginner, I cannot stress that meditation, 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 meditation. I hope that answers your question. As if you want to go more than just meditation, because I'm kind of feel like that's kind of what you're asking. Yeah. With meditation, I guess you can start practicing while you're doing meditation, learning how to cast a circle around yourself. Now, the circle isn't to keep things out. The circle is to act as a focal point for meditation, so that all that does not serve you is kept out, but so that you can constructively focus your mind to where you can hold it in, and so that you can keep focus. Uh, I sincerely hope that answered your question on that one. But that being said and done, I will try to do another live stream sometime in a week or so. Wish each and every one of you peace, blessings, and power. Till next time.